So I just did a talk on self-efficacy. It's linked to the bottom of this video or the previous one. Just look for me wearing the same hat. I'm going to actually now do a practice with you. I was talking to you about self-efficacy and about pulling back your attention. Our attention is our biggest commodity. Pulling it back from outside. As the day goes on, our attention gets further and further and further and further and further. Our power gets further and further and further from the seat of our capacity to actually have self-efficacy. I talked about that and explained that in that video, so go back there. But today what we're going to do is just take that back a little bit. And one thing I didn't note in there, but people often ask when the best time, the other question I answered was when's the best time to meditate. In terms of practicality, the first 5 minutes of your morning after you wake up, your brain is still like in that really nice, relaxed, kind of deep, not off to the races yet, not attention pulled out yet mode. So sometimes that can be a good time to practice and explore. That was what I was talking about, self-efficacy. So this is morning time for me, and my mind is still not quite pulled out into the outer outside world, attention pulling. And so that's a nice time to practice in the morning before your mind gets pulled off to the races with all of the to-dos. So there's one helpful tip on practice. And there are many others in that video, so go ahead and pop back to that. So in this practice, we're going to do micro hit, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. You can stop in the dime, do this anytime during your day. We're going to draw our attention back into your body. Your most rare and precious commodity. So stretch up, settle in, find your posture. Maybe you stretch or wiggle or move or yawn. Do whatever you do through movement or through breath, especially if it's like midday or afternoon or evening and your locus of attention has been dragged around like a rag doll, and you may be having a harder time bringing it back in. Just to reset the nervous system, a nice yawn it's an HA or an AH. And then relax whatever has also been contracted, because every time throughout the day your locus of attention or power, the seat of the thing that you do have the capacity, the greatest gift and skill, your attention, gets drawn out. You have this separation from your body, so you stop noticing the little micro tensions. So when you get nervous and your stomach tightens up, or you clench your jaw a little bit, or your back, or wherever that area is for you. So take a few breaths just to soften the belly. Let it become full and round. You can close the eyes. That kind of helps you draw back a layer inward. You can reconnect to your breath, your bare breath, your natural rhythm of breath. The first thing that happens in the morning is that range of your awareness starts to be dragged outside you into the outside world is the breath. It distorts your breath. So take a few. That's why I had you take a few ahs or ahs. Maybe fill your hands or your feet from the inside out. And maybe feel your rear end sitting in the chair beneath you, or your feet if you're standing in a standing posture on the ground or the earth beneath you. Feel the cushions or support behind you, or just the strength of your spine deeply supporting you. if there's anything that you can soften, let go of, let any readiness to move, any habitual parts of your body that hold tension or tightness. Maybe it's the jaw or the chest or the throat or the back. Or maybe you just feel a buzzing or humming in the body from all the momentum energy of throwing your attention outside all day. You can let any readiness to go or move or do anything just dissipate out. From the legs, and the arms, letting them become limp or like wet noodles or rag doll. Putting a placeholder in the busy mind, just saying, for the next few minutes, nowhere to go, nobody needs my attention right now. I'm going to literally turn it back on myself. And you can do any kind of micro hit practice you like that connects you to your self-efficacy, turns that dial up. Or I'll give you a few suggestions. One option is that you can just ride the wave of your breath. Incoming, outgoing, your bare breath. You're not controlling it. It's like you're sitting on it like it's a horse and you're just along for the ride. One of the oldest tethers, connectors to your attention and awareness. The other helper I'll give you if you want to explore it, if it works for you, is literally talking to yourself. Most of that is done in silence or not done at all. And we allow our awareness and attention to just be constantly outside and further and further and further away. We train ourselves to disconnect from those intuitions. Maybe the feelings in the body of emotion that give us information, or the physical body telling us, hey, pay attention to me, right? So I'm going to throw out a few little cues you can say to yourself silently or out loud, whether you do out loud noting or labeling or silently. Thank you, belly, for digesting my food today. How you doing? Today may I feel peace. message to yourself will come up intuitively. And this feels good to take a break. Maybe it's giving yourself permission to stop and pull your attention back to feel the heat and warmth of the sun on your skin, or the clothing on your body. Your emotional state, your mental happenings, what's going on inside. What happens if I don't outsource my attention? Joy and wisdom. What then? And every time your attention gets drawn, whether it's by a mental chatter, thought in the head, visual or auditory, of anything outside you, just get to remind yourself, oh, I don't have to follow that. Maybe, I don't know. Or redirect yourself back to this practice of having your attention anywhere on your sensory system experience. There is nothing to fear here. And we're taught so much to throw our hopes and dreams and aspirations and ourself outside ourself. And over time we do it so often that we are afraid to come back to this place where all of our attention is poured backwards and onto ourselves, to the breath. And what we find when we stay here a little bit is like, oh, this is the birthplace of wisdom. Oh, this is the birthplace of love. Oh, this is the birthplace of self-care, of self-efficacy. So just take a few breaths as we bring this practice to a close in another minute. Just take the last minute enjoying being in the seat of your own self-efficacy. Wisdom, self-care. you come out will transition. You can make a commitment to yourself. We make so many commitments to people outside ourselves. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. So make a commitment to yourself. This, I will not compromise. This deep self-care, this playground for internal wisdom, this I will not compromise. I will no longer outsource. And as you start to come back into your daily life from this practice, you're going to pull any momentum from this practice with you. Maybe it's the feeling of really feeling your breath or being in your body and your own experience. Having that attention somewhere inside your experience in visual, auditory, somatic. Like you're riding a wave of maybe 30, 40, 50% of your attention and awareness here as you move about the day. No, I won't compromise that sliver of attention. I'm going to keep it inward. I'm going to keep it on myself, with myself. I'm going to keep myself. I'm not going to abandon myself. You can periodically stop on a dime and take a micro hit and come back to it. Anytime you get busy in the day and forget, oh, I forgot, oh, I forgot, oh, I forgot. This is a practice of remembering, uncovering, to discover. We're going to discover. It's covered on top. Calling back home, a deep remembering. So enjoy. And what a lens you get to look at through the world, where you're like, oh no, you don't even need to know. Anything outside me doesn't even need. It's none of your business. But I've got some attention in, rather than all my attention out. That's skillful humaning. That's little citizen scientist, skillful humaning. That's our human species at its optimal. Have a great day.